Taking the reins of thousands of horses are those who dare to tame these unbridled clodhoppers. These steel-saddled marauders have come from far and wide to do battle with the local outlaws who collect their bounty in the southern heat. Welcome to the legendary DT's Dirt Drags in Gore Springs, Mississippi on a hot summer evening. As we continue our 2022 coverage of the MRA Championship Series, we'll be getting going with multiple classes, 3 main classes here tonight, as well as a battle in our Super Stock class. We'll be bringing highlights of that as the night goes on. But today the focus will be on the Modifieds and the Open class. Yesterday the Modifieds were on the paddles. Today the Open class will be on the paddles. The Modifieds will be on the cut tires, and standing by with a guy in the Open class who snuck down from north of the border and took the glory away from the Southern boys in the cut tire division of the Open class is our own Doc Riley.
Going to take an opportunity to get away from the competition track and talk to Steve and Gary here a little bit about the sport of mud racing. How did you get involved in mud racing?
A while back, over 30 years ago, I went to a mud bog. And everybody was trying to go across, and they couldn't. And I told my buddy, I said, next year we're going to build a car and we're going to go across, and which we did. And it evolved from there to what we see now.
Was a reason for that the need for speed?
Competition. I wanted to be number one.
And, you look at it, you talk about personal accomplishment and things like that. And, Gary, I'm thinking about over all the years of looking at national records. And almost every single year back in the good old NMRO days, we'd have a record broken by at least one class. You'd think that they'd eventually kind of level out and, you've got everything you can squeeze out of one of these vehicles.
Well, the technology just keeps... you find something new, and then pretty soon somebody else finds out about it, and they just keep raising the bar. And I don't know when we'll come to a stop, but look at our technology on everything here in this country, and it's exciting to watch the different things coming on, the newer stuff with the data we have, and of course, we still use a lot of old school on this stuff that the data just can't quite give us, and I think the sky's the limit. It's just it's going to be a lot farther in between these records is all, but they're going to keep getting better.
Let's talk a little bit about what sets this vehicle apart from all the rest in the class.
What's different about this vehicle is the engine. I'm the only guy right now running a 41X. Otherwise, it's very similar to what everybody else is running.
Why run that?
It was available. It was affordable, and the guy that works. That I buy the engines from is a great help to me.
What's the next plateau for you? What's the next thing that you're looking at? What record do you want to break?
The next one, we have to go sub 2 seconds. That's what I'd like to do ultimately, and then of course break the record in 200 feet. That's ultimately what we'd like to do.
So is it more important to get a record, or is it more important to get a win?
Record. They're both important, but the record for sure would be nice. I've only ever broken one record over the years, 150-foot track, I believe, 4 or 5 years ago.
It's all about the passion of the motorsport. It doesn't matter if you're running in sand, if you're running in mud, or if you're just doing the tried and true drag racing. It's all about going from A to B. It's about winning. It's about setting records, but it's more important to have just a little bit of fun.
They're definitely going to be having fun here this evening. Here's a look at the points in our 3 main classes this evening. Shane Olrogi sitting on top of the mod cut tire class, followed by Jason Chaya. Austin Harrison, who's out right now after a major fire. We'll see what Shane has against the field here tonight. Then on top of the pro stocks, Jesse Brown, driver of Loose Cannon, leading the charge, followed by Greg Booker, Trevor Latham, Ken Thomas, and Rodney Merritt. The Open paddle tires, which we'll be opening with here tonight, Kevin Harrison, the boy from right down the road in Grenada, Mississippi, leading Billy Fling, Tyler Coolidge, David Hahn, and Mark Riggin. And here's the guy who upset the field last night in the cut tire division, Steve Renaud, out of Hornpayne, Ontario, about 25 hours from home via rig. That is frantic. They're racing in the dirt chassis. The Canadian ready to go up against the points leader. And one guy you didn't see on the points that's also here competing this weekend is Dale Ellenberger in Touch of Madness. Dale coming off a major victory down south at the Darrell Jones Memorial, blowing out the whole Madness. We'll tell you about that later. And there's the guy from right down the road in Grenada, Kevin Harrison, in that custom-built Eric Bidlack racing chassis with a screw-blown 527 cubic inch Noonan racing engine. The Aussie horsepower going up against the 481X, the 526 cubic inch engine prepared by Atchison Machine Service out of London, Ontario. Renault fighting that car back to the left as it pulled him to the right, and Harrison will pick up the fast time in that pairing. So things looking up for him. He had a ton of mechanical troubles yesterday. Hopefully he can put that behind him. Things seem to be holding together for him right now. He's standing by with Doc.
Boy, what a difference a day makes, man. The blower belt stays on yesterday, couldn't catch a break. What about that run?
That was a good run there, real good. Everything stayed together, and I got the tune-up right this time. I had the tune-up wrong last night. Put way too much power last night. They got on the rev limiter, and when they got on the rev limiter, they kicked the belt off of it. So we done a lot better this time.
Do you think that by the time you guys come back to round two, the sun will be down a little bit more, maybe a little cooler? Will that help anything?
Yes, I'm gonna look at my data. I might can put a little more power in. I don't know yet. I'm gonna have to look at the information and see.
Yeah, that's always the case, man. Good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Guys always looking for a little bit cooler air to try to help with the boost and the compression there. You see Nightmare 6 now. Tyler Coolidge out of Two Harbors, Minnesota. His father, you see standing in front of him, drove that vehicle yesterday. And there is Dale Ellenberger out of Leon, West Virginia by way of Butler, Pennsylvania. Vehicle originally out of Pennsylvania as well. Campaigned by Gary Reddick. Now, Dale Ellenberger doing the driving. Touch of Madness won the 2022 Blown Alcohol Madness Paddle Tire Championship down in Sanford, North Carolina at the Lee County Mud Motorsports Complex, hoping he can carry that momentum on down the road here to Mississippi as he stages against a tough customer out of coal country, that being the second-generation driver Tyler Coolidge in Nightmare 6. Pieces and parts are flying off the Nightmare 6 entry. Problems in the, looks like the transmission on that machine. Ellenberger not going to better the time that Kevin Harrison laid down. And there you see the smoke rolling off of the engine of Nightmare 6. We'll wait and see what the actual damage report is, but we did see some parts bouncing down the track when he took off as the safety crew goes to begin wrapping the parachute up. He takes a look down his side. Yeah, right there around the drivetrain, something came apart. We're not sure what it is yet. We'll get another look at it. Keep an eye on the right-hand side of your screen. Something came off the back end of that car right there. I'm not sure what that was. We're waiting to hear what exactly broke. It does appear, though, he has done some major transmission and transfer case damage. And there you see Tyler out of the vehicle. Very disappointed. They're going to go to work taking inventory immediately, but I can tell you right now by the looks of disgust on their faces, they are out of the competition here tonight. Another look at the run in full. Ellenberger with a problem as well. Look at that. He's getting blasted in the face with fuel. Wait and find out what happened as, again, and there you see it. There's a drive shaft, and that's Will Harrison helping them out. They've got some major problems. Doc is standing by with Dale Ellenberger right now.
Well, what do we got going on here?
Well, it blew a alcohol line on the track, and we're just checking the plugs to make sure everything's okay in the motor. But we're going to do better next time.
Does everything look like it's coming out okay?
As long as we get a hose, we'll be good shape.
Yeah, good shape, good enough, man. Good luck second round.
Here comes the good hose.
There you go, right there. See, a delivery right here. Well, we'll let you get back to work, man. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
I'll tell you what, it might be a short ride, but I cannot imagine being strapped hard, getting hit in the face with raw alcohol. It's got to be a cooling feeling, if nothing else, as they tow the Nightmare 6 machine off of the track, we bring our next competitor, our final competitor in the open paddle tire class to the line. This is last season's champion in both this and the cut tire division, Billy Fling, the lone Buckeye in the field. The Sunbury, Ohio, the incredible front engine rail built by Braskin Race Cars. This is Reality Check. 581 cubic inch Hemi Racing engine fields this car along with his brothers Dale and Steve Fling and their buddy Dan Souter. We'll see what these guys can do. It's as much a tuning game as it is a driving game, if not more. He rolls into stage and waits on green. Blasting the track. It looked like he may have had just a little bit of trouble as he carried the front end, but not a bad run at all at a 2.15 and change. Billy Fling looking solid in Reality Check. You see the flames coming out of the headers right there, carries the front end, sets it back down without losing too much speed. That's something that can hurt these guys often, is they'll have to pedal the car in the middle to set it back down. Looks like he's just getting it felt out before he heads into session 2, and that's where he should be able to really lay the horsepower to the track, especially as the air cools down on an impressively hot weekend here in the state of Mississippi. Right now, Doc Riley is headed down to talk to Billy Fling as they continue towing Nightmare off the track.
Well, it's time right now in round number 1 in the open paddles class to get a little reality check. How are things?
Good. I think we had a good pass there. I don't know what my time was, but it seemed to run all right.
That's good. Anything you can do to kind of change things for round number 2, or?
Yeah, we'll go up and read the plugs and see what we can take a little fuel away and hit her again.
You know, it's a little bit cooler tonight. Does that make any difference at all?
It does. When the air gets better, you can put more fuel to it.
We know Billy's going to be letting it hang out in session 2 as he's currently sitting third. The open paddle tire class topped off by Kevin Harrison with a 2.04 and change. Steve Renauld at a 2.11. There you see Fling's 2.15. And then a big jump down to Dale Ellenberger and Tyler Coolidge, who both had mechanical problems in that round. Unfortunately, though, Tyler Coolidge will not be back as he detonated the entire drivetrain in the rear of that rail. We're not done by a long shot, though. Pros and modifieds coming your way when we come back to DT's Dirt Drags.
This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by Monsters Monthly. For up-to-date info, media, and all your other monster truck needs, visit monstersmonthly.com. And by Crush This. For a look inside the world of monster trucks, check out Crush This on Monster Truck Podcast. This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by RPM Army. For a wide array of content from across the motorsports world, visit rpmarmy.com. Your high-performance fix on the go.
So the best fans in motorsports tailgating here on a relaxing but hot evening at DT's Dirt Drags in Gore Springs, Mississippi, as we continue our coverage of the 2022 MRA Championship Series. This is round 2 on the season that began out in Prague, Oklahoma. Moved here as we get ready for highlights from our super stock class. 2 vehicles competing there to the left of your screen. The green square body step side that is hog wild, the K10, driven by Garrett Williams out of Shawneetown, Illinois, taking on Jacob Smith in Clayton Olcott's S10 with the 632 big block Chevy. The win would go to Williams. This is the only heads-up class in the series right now, and Williams would take that victory. They would swap lanes and restage as you get a look at the pair of 632 cubic inch big block Chevys going to war one last time here in Gore Springs. And the red light on the bottom of the tree in the right-hand lane tells the tale. Williams picking up the Super Stock victory here in Gore Springs. Now we continue on with highlights of our Pro Stock division. Here's a guy we haven't seen yet this season, Daniel Jones out of McMinnville, Tennessee. A pair of volunteers ready to go at it in this first pairing. Another Tennessean on the other side, a guy who we saw do very well in the Outlaw Pro Stock class. That's Jesse Brown and Loose Cannon out of Waverly, Tennessee with a 715 cubic inch big block Chevrolet. Brown skating just a bit during that run, but he would get the fast time as Doc would talk to both of these drivers after the run.
Well, at 297, your thoughts?
It went pretty good. Wheelie bar was up a little bit high. Pulled the front tires quite a bit. We're going to have to lower it. Track's not as good as what, or not as worked up as some that we've run, or as wet, I should say. Yeah, so we're going to have to lower it down a little bit, and we'll try it again. Maybe we can do a little better.
Well, every good racer's got that piece of paper. They always look at it. What'd you run?
I run a 28902. My 60 foot was a little down. I run a 142. Last night we was running a 130 in the 130s, and I turned it down a little bit on the launch, just trying to see what it would do. And then I wasn't shifting last night, and I shifted it tonight. So I'm probably gonna go back to what I was doing last night and see if it speeds it back up. So maybe it will, and who knows.
Final competitor in the class all the way from Gar, Colorado, the Mile High Bow Tie, the RDM Construction sponsored Disturbed of Rodney Merritt. Slowest in the class, but a clean run, and he will be going back to Colorado likely in one piece, a 3.3455. He's been consistent here this weekend, and that's important, and Doc Riley has an update on the class.
Rodney Merritt and the Disturbed, this old Sonoma right here, 334, that passed. Now let's see what he did last night. 334 with the 5. So he's right there in the same neighborhood. Boy, it's a little bit cooler tonight. I think this old hot rod may have a couple of tenths quicker in it. We'll see in the next round.
Well, consistency is as important as speed in any form of motorsports and in all classes in this form of racing. And two guys out of the state of Wisconsin who have definitely helped build speed and consistency for many teams in the MRA and around the sport are Scott and Shane O'Rogie of Racing in the Dirt out of Cleveland, Wisconsin. And earlier today, Doc Riley had a chance to talk with Shane about some very important parts on these cars.
Taking some time out away from the racetrack to learn about some items that are very critical on the racetrack. And we're doing it here, Racing in the Dirt. Taking a look at a front end. Kind of tell me what we got going on here.
Well, here at RATD, we designed a Dana 30 fabricated front end. It's based off a CJ style ring and pinion, billet support, pinion support, lightweight tube style inner shafts. We make all the brake kits. So we got wide 5 style, we got 5 on 4.5, 4 and 3/4, 5 on 5.5. So we can kind of do anything we want with this housing. We can make it different widths, offsets. Like this housing would get down to 105 pounds at the lightest, ready to bolt in.
Wow, that's amazing. And having a billet, so you know that it's going to be durable, it's going to be strong.
Correct. You're looking at usually the lightest you can build, like a stock Dana 30, is in 180, 185 pound range. So you're looking at least a 70 pound difference on a complete setup.
And that translates into a whole lot of horsepower and a whole lot of speed.
Rotating weight is everything.
Yeah, that's one amazing thing about this sport is the fact that you really have to be conscious of whether it's the tire or just the rotating weight anywhere. You got to be able to manage that.
Every ounce counts. The strength has to be there though, because we have to be able to use the front end. The front end in the first couple feet is everything for what we're doing.
Yeah, which is really amazing because most of the time you talk about the launch and everyone thinks about the rear tires taking it down there, but the front end, very, 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 very important. Let's take a look at some of the other things we've got going on here.
Everything we do is in-house. So the inner shafts, say we got here, This is the tubed inner shaft. It's got billet molly ends, both ends, and then a tubed. We're the only ones in the world that make this stuff to go lightweight.
I tell you, it's amazing to me that you look at items like this. You're the only one in the world that does it. And I'm going to tell you, you just didn't come up with the idea one day. There's got to be a lot of practical applications, a lot of trips up and down the track that have kind of led to that design.
Lots of testing on everything we do. Me and Dad, Scott, which is Scott, the owner of Racing the Dirt, as racers, we know what we need to do. We want to push the edge, but we never go too far. We always trying to advance in what we're working on.
Sure. That's all. Let's talk about this piece right here. I think one of the cool things is the fact that it's just so well machined.
Absolutely. That's a air filter for a dual carburetor. We got them single carburetors. We got them for big and ugly hats, Enderley hats. So it puts a pre-filter on it and gets rid of a K&N. So it breathes better, but it also will stop anything up to like a size of a hair. So.
And it's amazing too because there's a lot of thought that went into that.
Absolutely. So if you got like a K&N style filter and you have a nitrous pop, you end up with a fire. Okay, so sometimes like these with the pre-filters on a nitrous car, you have a backfire. Well, that little filter it burns up and it's done. Usually you get it to fire out real quick. That's another reason behind it.
Well, a lot of thought, a lot of innovation, and a lot of time and talent have gone through here. A couple of guys out of Wisconsin. Who would have thought? Racing in the dirt. Really great supporter of MRA racing and in sport overall. A lot of thought, a lot of durability, and a lot of pride goes into every single product that they craft.
Speed and consistency always very important, but reliability tops them all. We get ready for another fast class. The modifieds are on their way next. They put on the cut tires and go racing when we come back to Gore Springs, Mississippi. Stay with us.
Hey, welcome to Wildman Adventures. We're at the Silver Lake Sand Dragway. There really wasn't any off-roading back then. It was all off-road. We're on our way to Lima, Ohio. Got wooden wheels.
Oh, it's slippery as all get out of.
Hey, we're here with Rich Cummins. Hey, we're here with Mike Potter. Hey, we're here with Alan Pizzo. Gotta check it out. This week we're going to go down memory lane.
Well, earlier you heard Shane Olrogi mention his father, Scott. That was him right there in the red racing jersey on the starting line as they are set to line up against a vehicle they helped build and prepare. That's Jason Chai out of Weyowega, Wisconsin in Little Crazy. He stages alongside another black and green Bronco, also out of Wisconsin, being handled by Shane Olrogi. Actually, the vehicle is out of Las Vegas, New Mexico, and normally fielded by Greg Martinez, who's recovering from back surgery. Hope to see Greg back out here very, very soon to chase these points. Right now, though, Shane Olrogi and Scott Olrogi trying to keep the Scream Bronco in the points for Greg when he returns. We will see what these guys can do as they start off our modified class. Some massive horsepower ready to go here as they come into stage. You'll see the Christmas tree start to light at the top. Light 2 sets of amber bulbs and then watch it fall to green.
Keep your eyes on that right lane. It will be some wheels up back to come out.
Beautiful run for both vehicles. A 2.54 for Chaya, who got a little out of shape at the end, and a 2.6 for Olrogi. Chaya carrying the front end there with that 788 cubic inch Bischoff Ford Hemi. Look at him pick up the front end, actually carrying the left front tire there in the near lane for Olrogi, but going to be looking for a lot more speed in the next pass to try to get that low ET. Doc is standing by with Jason Chaya right now of Little Crazy.
Well, what about that pass here in round number 1?
Well, I'm not sure how fast it went, but it felt good. I think we had a good start to the class. See what comes next.
Looked like it came off the line pretty well and looked like it was pretty straight.
It was real straight. It was real solid. I felt good. But we got 2 rails coming up, and they're going to be tough competition.
You know, it's amazing how close your competition is. I mean, you're talking hundreds and thousands of seconds.
Yeah, it's real tight. It's very exciting.
Talk about a guy who gets excited from racing, Jason Shy. Always wide-eyed when we catch him there at the end of the run. The heart is definitely pumping as a legend rolls into stage. That is Keith Mitchell in the Magician out of Fredonia, Pennsylvania, the Keystone Killer, with this KCD-built rear-engine rail carrying a massive 960 cubic inch Sonny's power plant, and he's staged up next to a 760 cubic inch Goodwin competition race engine with EFI out of Cleveland, Wisconsin. Once again, pulling double duty here is Shane Olrogi back on the line in the same lane he just ran. That may help him here. We'll see if he can take anything from the front engine Bronco and apply it here, to this rear engine rail. His father, Scott, helping him purge the nitrous, get the pressure in the bottles just right so the right amount of nitrous goes into the engine to make the right amount of horsepower. He's going to need to go quick because he's next to a fierce Keith Mitchell in the Magician, who took the paddle tire victory in this class yesterday. Right now, as they all keep shooting for that record time of a 2.371. Can they go lower than that 2.371 here? Awesome pair of runs, a 2.51 for Olrogi. Will go quick. I say it's an awesome pair of runs, but I'm telling you right now, when Doc goes over to talk to these guys here in a little bit, they're both going to be disappointed. Never satisfied in racing, especially in any form of drag racing. Look at Mitchell actually fighting the car quite a bit over there on the far side. Right now, Doc is headed down to talk to the man himself, Keith Mitchell.
Well, last night, you know, first pass was okay. Second pass was the one you wanted. Tonight,
going to have to do it again.
Really, going to have to do it again?
I think Shane got us by a little bit, they said. So yeah, the car didn't stay hooked. It was kind of the front end was bobbing. Felt like it was struggling to keep it in the air. So I have to look at the data and go from there.
Do you think that's track or do you think that's car? Kind of have it bobble like that?
I think maybe the clutch was slipping, not catching a hold or something. So we'll take a look.
Take a look at that data.
Yep, very good.
There's a guy with a different demeanor, the quiet and cool Keith Mitchell, trying to figure out how to make more horsepower. Never see Keith get all that excited, and kind of staying true to his personality as Doc Riley heads over now to talk to Tyler Coolidge about this mess in the open class pits.
One of those situations no racer ever wants to see being towed off the track. Do you know what the damage is all about?
Not really, but the transmission came on and it wrecked the drive shaft, front drive shaft, probably the front gears also, but broke the case on the transmission.
Well, you know, do you have any idea why?
Not yet. Not yet until we probably find out next week until what caused it.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of moving pieces on this, man. Well, tough break right there. But I know you guys, when you get back to racing, you'll come back to race, man.
Yep, but hopefully we'll be ready in 2 weeks.
Well, an optimistic couple guys there out of the state of Minnesota. It's good to know that they plan on being back, although they won't be back tonight with that massive drivetrain damage right now. Doc Riley is headed over to talk to the guy who's pulling double duty in the modified class, Shane Olrogi, standing by in the Racing in the Dirt pit area.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to ask about those 2 passes right there, but running one car sometimes can be tough enough. Sometimes 2 in the same class back to back. That can probably get a little hectic.
Oh, it's a little stressful. Absolutely. It's very hot out today, too, so it made it even worse.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the first run, the first pass.
Scream was having a very solid, clean pass. Every time we send it down the track, it gets faster. So we're very happy the way it's going, and it's ready for Greg to get back in the seat.
And that's not your regular ride, that's a customer ride, right?
Absolutely. Greg Martinez out of Las Vegas, New Mexico.
So he's letting you run it, kind of get the things in, and he'll be healed up and ready to go here in another couple weeks. Let's talk about your regular ride. What about that pass?
It was an okay pass. We had the wheelie bar a little too high, unloaded, but we'll have a better pass probably next round.
We've had several people say that the wheelie bar's been a little too high. You weren't the only one that said it. Why is that?
Sometimes if you get a little too high on the wheelie bar, it gets up on it, and then it'll actually unload the tires. So if you have the wheelie bar lower, it'll actually not hit it so hard. So it helps. Very big benefit.
Did you change it from last night, or?
No, just different track. Track's a little better.
Wow. Well, that's always good to hear. Good luck next round.
Thank you.
Always a lot of insight out of that pit area with all the work those guys do to help the rest of these guys build speed. We're not done yet. Session 2 still to go. We'll wrap things up when we come back to Mississippi. Stay with us. Back at DT's Dirt Drags in Gore Springs, Mississippi, getting set to start session 2 of the evening in all classes, and it will open up with the pro stocks. There you see Rodney Merritt all the way out of Gar, Colorado, in the RDM Construction sponsored Sonoma called Disturb, the mile high bow tie ready to go. Starting off session 2, he's currently sitting third. Little problem there on the starting line. I'll give him a 3.46. So Merritt not going to better his own time. That was a 3.345 in session 1. As our next pairing comes immediately to the line, there's Jesse Brown out of Waverly, Tennessee, in that beautiful bright orange Chevrolet S10 as he takes on Daniel Jones, also out of the state of Tennessee, driving Ole Red. Bright orange Chevy running a 715 cubic inch big block Chevrolet power plant. The vehicle owned by Rocky Brown. We'll see if Jesse can stay on top of the fleet and if Jones got his issues figured out with that rear end. Big problems off the line for Jones, and skating a little bit there in the shutdown area is Brown as we wait on the times. Look at that, another 2.89, a very consistent pair of passes back-to-back for Jesse Brown. He will take the victory in the Pro Stock division, and Doc Riley is headed down right now to talk to Jesse.
Well, you got the piece of paper right there. What does that tell you?
Every change I'm making is not making any difference right now. I don't know what's going on. I hope maybe we can get something figured out with it, but it's just not going my way right now. I mean, we're still putting down pretty decent times, but I know there's still more left in it, and I'm trying to find it.
Well, that's kind of part of the challenge and kind of part of the fun. Sometimes may not seem like it, but chasing that stuff, as long as it's not too aggravating, it can kind of be a good challenge.
I enjoy it. It can get frustrating sometimes, but I do enjoy doing it. I've done it since I was like 14 years old, and my dad's done it since before I was born. So, but it does get kind of frustrating sometimes, but it also is fun.
Well, you know what? Congratulations, the winner. That's the funnest.
Oh yeah, that's what I come here for, is to win.
Yeah. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
And of course, funnest is not a word, but I think everyone knows what I'm saying.
Doc Riley, always telling it like it is. Jesse Brown, as I said, these racers are never satisfied. Got the win, and he's still looking for a better run in the loose cannon Chevrolet, as Billy Fling, last year's national champion in the MRA series, and reality check the Brasket Race Cars built chassis with the massive Hemi horsepower in the front. He's going to go side by side now. He had a bye run round 1. He's going to go side by side with Dale Ellenberger, a pair of front engine rails going toe to toe right here. Awesome set of machines, both of these guys known to be quick. Ellenberger trying to work out some handling problems here this evening. Two very, very different runs right there. Fling goes straight as an arrow, and Ellenberger was bouncing all over the place. Fling runs a 2.122 in that round. Still not going to be enough to get to that top spot. Kevin Harrison, who laid down that 2.043 in session 1 and will now come back to the line to try to better that. The national record in this division on a 200-foot course is a 1.951. I doubt seriously right now with the way things are anybody is going to break that record, but he's going to have to try as he faces Steve Renaud and frantic. Renaud carrying the front end. He will not pick up another victory, and Kevin Harrison lays down a shot. I can tell you right now, in any case, Kevin Harrison has won the class regardless of how this time comes out, and he will not better his own time. But again, it doesn't matter. Doc Riley headed down right now to talk to your open class winner, Kevin Harrison.
Boy, what a difference a day makes. So what a difference a round makes. Congratulations on the win, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We done good here, hometown, so we're done real good.
Now, yesterday, that 3-mile trip, here had a broken blower belt and some other things happened, but today's a whole other ball game.
Yes, sir. We tuned it a little different. We went to the paddle tires, and you can put more power in the paddle tires versus the cut tires. So we put a decent tune up in it and got down the track.
What was the track like tonight? Different than yesterday?
Yes, it was a lot better tonight. They put more water on the track, so it helped a lot.
Congratulations. I know you probably got some people to thank.
Yes, sir. Eric Bidlack, well, he must have walked off. He built the chassis. Hank Lanes helped me work on it. I'm just Bubba Stanton. He's helped me tune. And just a bunch more friends. Jeremy Hood, he helps me all the time, and both of my boys.
Well, nobody tell Kevin that Eric was just over his right shoulder. He's looking into the light anyway, but congratulations to Kevin Harrison. Congratulations to Jesse Brown. And now we will crown another victor here in Gore Springs, Mississippi, this time in the modified cut class. There you see Shane Olrogi in deranged. Shane ran a 2.516 in the first session. He took the fast time there. To Keith Mitchell's 2.6655. The record in this class on a 200-foot track, 2.371. And remember, if you're chasing the record, you're always going to be chasing fast time. If you get the record, you're likely to also win the class. Let's see how it works out for this awesome pair of rear-engine machines here in session number 2. Maybe a little staging battle right now. Mitchell taking his sweet time rolling up. We need to light those other 2 bulbs before we drop it to green. Mitchell fighting that thing again, but look at this, a 2.4239 to take the number 1 spot. Olrogi sped up as well at a 2.478 elapsed time. He crossed the finish line first. Look at Mitchell. I don't know how he pulled fast time fighting that car like that, but remember, they're racing the clock, not each other. It's not who gets to the finish line first. It's who goes the quickest between the clocks. Now, little crazy, Jason Chaya out of Weyawega, Wisconsin. The front-engine Bronco, he's going to go side-by-side with another front-engine Bronco, that being, well, no, he's going to get a single here in this session. I was wrong. Shane Olrogi did not come back to the line in Greg Martinez's Scream, so we'll see if Chaya can jump over the quick time. Carried the front end, not going to do it, a 2.677. So he actually ran slower than Mitchell's session 1 time. Not what he was looking for, but Keith Mitchell, this means, will take back-to-back victories in the modified class. One yesterday with the paddles and one today with the cut tires. Doc Riley is down pit side.
There's a lot of people over here, man, and a lot of smiling faces. And I'll tell you what, that was a great pass, man.
Oh, man, we got our hands full. Yeah, we just had to put more power to it. The track was heavy tonight, needed more power, and so we made a few adjustments and started drifting left on me. I was just had to ride it out. I was hoping I could stay in bounds before it got crazy, but then I had my hands full in the shutdown. But it felt awesome, way better than the first pass again. I guess we got to have a shakedown pass and then a good pass.
Well, and I guess you can look at that first round pass as that test run. That you hate to do that, but then again, exactly. You got that second round pass to be able to come back through here. You got a lot of smart people around here that can kind of tell you what's going on. We rolled in here after the first round and there weren't a lot of happy faces. I thought that was a pretty good pass, but one guy was holding a time slip. So.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. The first pass was lazy off the line, and I think I might even backpedal before the finish line. I mean, according to my data there again, a lot of stuff went wrong on the first pass. But I think we just literally need more power. The track was heavy, and it needed to get the tires squealing a little bit harder.
Well, congratulations, man. It's got to feel. Wow, didn't you win yesterday too?
Yes, sir. It feels good, yeah. It's good to be on top again.
Absolutely good. A lot of good guys right over here too, man. I tell you what, congratulations to everybody. Some of these guys have been with you for a while.
Yeah, Dan, grew up together since kindergarten, and Larry, we met 35 years ago, and adopted this young man here 10, 15 years ago. So, we're very fortunate to have a crew that's been around us all this time. So that's what it takes. They strap me in, make sure I'm all safe and secure, and it takes the crew to get this thing down the track.
Congratulations, man.
Thanks, Doc. Appreciate it.
Congratulations to Keith Mitchell. What a family of motorsports here. The modified cut tire division. Shane O'Rogie still sitting on top of the field, 20 points up on Jason Giant, and Greg Martinez's machine being fielded by the O'Rogie family at 175. He's going to be happy about that when he comes back to racing, that not only is this car staying alive in the OPS class, but in the modified class. Then Austin Harrison, who's out from that fire, and Keith Mitchell, who jumps onto the board here tonight in Gore Springs. In the Pro Stock class, Jesse Brown continues to lead by almost 100 points to Rodney Merritt, followed by Greg Booker out of the state of Missouri, Trevor Latham, and Ken Thomas at the bottom there with 110 points. There are a few more cars outside of that top 5 that we should see coming on later in the season. And in the open class paddle tire division, Kevin Harrison remains on top, carrying that lead. Billy Fling trying to catch him, followed by Tyler Coolidge, David Hahn, who we hope to see back, and Steve Renaud once again jumping onto the board here tonight in Gore Springs. We cannot wait to see these guys run again out in Steelville, Missouri at the Upper Merrimack Dirt Drags. That'll be our next stop for the MRA Championship Series. We thank you for joining us here tonight in Gore Springs. For Doc Riley, the BCP and MRA crews, I'm Nick Davis. We will see you next time.